In part 2 of this report, the outrageous thing Tyrone did to his own son and how the courts in Louisiana have sanctioned it. The environment became so hostile and dangerous for Nikki and Dylan at 39 Cheryl that on Labor Day weekend 2010, Tyrone called Nikki's mother twice in the middle of the night and threatened to kill Nikki. The second night, Nikki's parents raced to 39 Cheryl Street, and Nikki's mother told the deputy about Tyrone's death threats. What did he say?
He said, "Come and get your fucking daughter, or I'm going to get my gun and shoot her."
And then what did he say?
I asked him, "Please don't shoot my daughter." And then he said he was going to go and call his sister and have her come and beat the shit out of her.
What happened next?
I threatened to call the police, and he said, "I'll beat you to it," and he hung up.
To get relief from the imminent danger and to cool things off, Nikki and Dylan would spend that Saturday night at her parents' house. The next day, Tyrone decided they had to go. On Labor Day 2010, Tyrone and his mother would empty the baby's nursery and evict Nikki and Dylan by putting their belongings on the lawn with rain in the forecast. Nikki's parents, with a deputy as chaperone, loaded Dylan's crib, Dylan's high chair, Dylan's changing table, Dylan's clothes stuffed into trash bags, into a U-Haul as Tyrone's mother pitched a lawn chair to watch and take these pictures with Nikki's camera. The posse gathered was so hostile, thinking Nikki herself would show up, that the first deputy called for backup. When you talked to Tyrone after he had put your stuff out and Dylan's stuff out, you asked him about why did you put your own son out? What did he say?
"You his mama. The baby has to go with his mama."
But that September, Tyrone would hire Sheila O'Connor to plot to take custody of Dylan and to decide where Dylan should live. In December, a hearing officer sided with Tyrone to keep Nikki from moving Dylan out of state. Tyrone threw Dylan out, but got to determine where Dylan would live. With her own lawyers cowering and refusing to fight, Nikki decided in August 2011 that she had to protect herself and Dylan, and both moved to New York. Nikki asked New York Judge Hal Greenwald for a protection order against Tyrone, but Greenwald turned it down. Nikki told her story to Child Protective Services.
Well, he's 6'1", at least 300 and something pounds, and at the time I'm only 5'1", 150 pounds, and he would pick me up and throw me and slam me down and say, "Oh, I'm just wrestling with you," amongst other things. Manhandling, grabbing, smacking, and then even when I'm pregnant and after I had the baby, he still thought it was a game and would throw me around, and I never laughed. I never thought it was funny.
And it indicated Tyrone for abuse, saying Dylan's needs appear to be exceedingly met by the mother. No safety factors, risk is low. Risk will be high if father's allowed to have contact with the child. After Nikki had established residency in New York in the spring of 2012, she petitioned New York Family Court for custody and served Tyrone in Louisiana to come to New York for a show cause hearing. O'Connor and Tyrone did come. Louisiana Judge Mary C. Devereaux told New York Family Court there was no violence in the Nikki-Tyrone relationship and that Nikki left Louisiana because she didn't like the court orders. That lie and a bunch of other ones would lead to a legal ambush of Nikki in court because New York heeded the lies, ignored the law and its own findings, and sent Dylan off with the abusive Tyrone and to a state that ignores and covers up domestic violence. In our next report, how Tyrone Blanc Jr. lives up to the indicated report calling him an inadequate guardian of his son.